What's up, guys? We are back in the shop and we're working on the engine for Blueberry. So I've got everything pretty much cleaned up. I do have to do a little bit more cleanup and go through the block and make sure everything is good. Cylinder bores look really good. Just got to check the line hone, check the mains. Rods and pistons look amazing. Our rings, which I don't know if you can make that even show up on camera, but our rings are in great condition. Line-to-line coating is hanging in there perfectly. I mean, there's really any kind of scuffing or wear marks on this other than where it has been fit to the bore. So it's a little bit shinier right there and a little bit duller over here, but yeah, everything's working really good. So I clean up this a little bit more, and then the next thing we got to do is I have to yank that pin out of the camshaft before I get started on it. So you guys saw I have used muriatic acid, like somebody told me in the comments, to remove the plating from it, and it worked amazing. So let's go check that out. So the other day I used this muriatic acid to remove the plating from these grade 8 fasteners because when it's plated like this, you cannot weld to it. If you try to weld to it, it'll pop and bang and explode and do bad things and make poison gas. So we took the plating off with this muriatic acid, and it really is pretty amazing how well this stuff works. I mean, I put a little tin of it together and then just dropped these in there in like 5 seconds. It was perfectly clean. This is obviously, you know, bare metal now, so it's already got a little bit of surface rust on it, but and I did try it with the black oxide too, just because I wanted to see what would happen, and it did not really do anything, it looks like. I mean, it didn't really touch that. But for removing anything with plating, like this yellow zinc grade 8 fastener plating, works perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this nut right here and we're going to weld it to the camshaft pin and try and grab onto this and yank it out. All right, guys, so we got our nut, we've got our cam, and we've got our broken off pin right here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to stack up just like a little ball on top of it so that I'm not trying to weld out in this deep crevice. So we'll stack a little ball up on there, and then I'll weld this nut to it. And then hopefully the heat from actually welding on this thing will loosen that pin up and I'll be able to slide it right out with a slide hammer. At least that's the goal. You never know with these things. Okay, that's on AC. I think we can do it with that. And all we got to do is just kind of fill in that nut. Oh yeah. Now it's time for the slide hammer. Oh yeah. That was easy. Woo. I was nervous. I didn't know how well it was going to come out, but that was smooth. It was pretty smooth. On to the next thing. All right, guys, so we're over here. We've got the engine in the assembly area, and I've got my short block parts laid out. So we've got pistons, rods, rings, crankshaft, camshaft with the dowel pin removed. I've gone in there and deburred everything to make sure I can actually get pins back in it. One thing that we are missing is the camshaft drive assembly, and that's because I'm not going to use a double roller. In fact, I have got myself an Innovators West belt drive, the best of the best that I can get for it. So super cool upgrade that's going to be coming in the mail soon. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to put crank, pistons, rods, camshaft, make sure that the cam bearings are all good, and we'll go from there. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure everything is perfectly clean. You guys saw me run a brush through everything over there. I'm just going to visually check it again, check our mains, check our cylinder bores, and then size up some rod bearings. So that's what I'm about to do. All right, so you just saw me measure up our first rod bearing, and it's not looking so good. So we're at right now 1.5 thousandths, 1 and 6 tenths, basically. Obviously, on something like this, we need to run more clearance than that. We need at least, I would like to see a minimum of like 2 1/4. Really, I'd like to see like 2.5. And the issue here is that I've got an HX bearing. This is an extra clearance bearing, correct width and everything, because this is a Chevrolet Journal in a Ford engine. It has to use an extra narrow rod bearing. So I've got the extra clearance one here, but this is coated. So I'm thinking maybe just the Moly uncoated bearing version of this. I don't know how much the calico coatings take up on small block Chevy rod bearings, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think it's a whole thousandths. But we might be kind of screwed on that because I already looked here. This is, if you're wondering why I changed clothes, that's because A, I had to refresh the fit. B, I had to order bearings. So, because I didn't have any of the right bearings on the shelf. And when I looked for the rod bearings, this was the only extra clearance bearing that was available that I could find anywhere. So, yikes, we're gonna have to look into that. But good news is that the main bearings are ready to go, so we can drop the crankshaft in. All right, so we've got our crankshaft here, got it all spiffied up. Our main bearings are ready, so now we just gotta apply some lubrication to the bearings, and we can pop that sucker right in there. All right, guys, like the title suggests, I have got some really cool ultra fancy parts that are going to be the ultimate upgrade for the timing system on this thing. So I'm super excited about it. I know we talked about a couple different options, and this is what I ended up going with. Oh, brand new out of the box from Innovators. The most Billy Bad Boy belt drive that money can buy right here, man. This thing is stout. Me and Nate saw these at PRI and we were like, dude, that's exactly what I need for my engine. So sure enough, I ended up getting one, and I'm gonna put this on Old Blueberry because this is something really cool. Also, you'll notice something different. It's typical small block Ford bolt pattern here, but this is for a big block Chevrolet, son, because I want to put big block Chevrolet accessory brackets on it because they're way easier to mount and way easier to find than small block Ford brackets. So I'm super pumped about this thing. Let's go put it on. All right, so we're here the next day. Unfortunately, we're now day 3 into this thing, which is how this engine always goes. I have managed to now actually hone the rods, or have them honed because we don't have the correct mandrel for it. So took the rods to get honed, just took them 1/1000 oversized so I could get 1/1000 more on the bearing clearance. So already checked all the bearing clearances. This sucker is ready to put together. So let's get the bearings in. We'll put some shells together. We'll put the pistons and rods together since I took them apart, and we'll slap them on in. But over. Maybe raise the car up just. All right, so we got our short block together. I've checked our rod side clearance for the thrust. Everything is looking perfectly good. Everything is torqued and marked, ready to go. So at this point now, the short block, as the definition of a short block is completed. So the next thing I'm gonna do real quick while I still got you guys here is I wanna show you this Super Billy Bad Boy Innovators West belt drive. So I'm gonna finalize all of this stuff and then actually start mounting some accessories and show you how to use this thing in the next video. But just a quick teaser, since I did promise you guys, if you watch my shorts, that I was gonna show you guys this Wednesday. So today, let's get this sucker on here. Watch me struggle with this thing. There. And now, at least temporarily, let's see how it actually fits on here. First fit. I don't feel like pressing this on right now, so we're gonna get rid of that. Already cut for 2 separate dowels, as you can see. And they even have it pre-drilled right here in case you wanted to do a third. That's what I was looking for, was 2 dowel pins at the least. Because I know that, you know, the dowel pin is really what failed on the other thing, not the chain per se, so. Get our dowels lined up. Like that. That's basically what it's gonna look like. Already looking way fancier. This is like out of character for this build so far. Buying nice new stuff. It's crazy. Super looking forward to installing this the rest of the way on. That'll be in the next video. So the plan is right now we're going to do a 3-part video on this whole build-up. So we've got the short block video, which we just finished. Probably next week, if not the week after that, we'll be doing the long block video. So we'll be putting the heads, valve train in it, as well as covers, intake, and start mounting some accessories on our new big block Chevy accessory post. After that, I'm thinking 3rd video we'll be doing install / miscellaneous fab work that I'll need to do to make this work with my motor plate. So I'm going to be going from a standard small block Ford OEM front cover to this Innovators belt drive, which obviously is slightly different because it's an all exposed belt. There is no actual cover on the front of this that goes to the water pump like you guys are familiar with the standard small block Ford stuff. So there's going to be a little bit of changeover. It shouldn't really be too much work because I am utilizing on my motor plate the 4 water holes and these 2 holes as well. So the only thing that I'm really concerned about trying to make work would probably be just fitting it with these to get it to actually mount in the car how I want it. But that's all stuff that we're going to be looking at in the 3rd video. So come back and see me for that one. But that wraps it up for today. I'm Kyle. Thanks for watching my channel, and we'll friggin' see you next time.